Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, today we're not really learning anything new, but we're just having more practice with how to solve two variable equations with fractions and decimals this time. So I did the first two because they're pretty simple, but I'll go ahead and explain them. Okay, so you have 0.5k plus 5.5j. Don't look at the answer, but we have that. And you have k and j defined here, both those two. So I went ahead and I substituted both of them. So 0.5 times 2 is 1, and then 5.5 times 2 is 11. You add them and you get 12, which makes this answer 12. Now, whenever you are multiplying decimals, there's nothing really different than from multiplying, as regularly. But what I do when I multiply, let's just do 0.5 times 2. So what I do is when you want to find out where the decimal place is going to go, you can count them. So this is one decimal space to the left. So then I put one decimal space here, and then I can just take that whole thing out. I just do 5 times 2, and that gives me 10. And then I can bring that 1 back here and move one decimal space back here, and that will give me 1.0, or just 1. So that's how I do it. Let's just do another one quickly. Let's do 5.5 times 2. Now this is one decimal point, so I'll just put 1 here. I'll do 55 times 2, and that's 110. I'll move one decimal space back, and that makes this 11. Okay, now that we've finished that explanation, we can go ahead and move to the second one. Now here you have this is a fraction, so here you have 1 over 2y plus 1 over 2x, and you have x and y both defined as 6. I just went ahead and plugged them in for y and x, and half of 6 is 3 and half of 6 is 3, and they're both the same because they have the same coefficient or number before the variable, and the value of their variable is exactly the same, so they both are 3. You add them and you get 6. Now let's go ahead and do another one, and this one is kind of a big number, but it's okay. So we have 100, this isn't a variable, or this isn't a fraction or a decimal, but this is just a regular one. So here we have 165x times 2y, and x and y are both divided as 5 and 8 respectively. So let's go ahead and substitute x with 5 and y with 8. Now 165 times 5 is 825, and 2 times 8 is 16. So we can multiply those. If we multiply those, we will get I'm doing math really quickly. So we get 30 here, 15 here, 15 again. Bring this placeholder down. So we will get 9,800 as our answer. So you can put 9,800 here. Okay, now that we understand that, we can move on to another multiplication problem, but this time it's fractions. So we have 3/4 a times 2/5 b, with a and b defined as 100 and 7.5 respectively. So let's go ahead and put the numbers in, or substitute them. So 3/4 times 100, 3/4 times 100 is 75, and then 2/5 times 7.5 is 3, and then we will get here, we have 75 times 3, and then that will equal 225. That is your answer. So you'll get 225 as your answer. And go ahead and try if you can work this out on your own. Work all of these out on your own so that you can try and get the answer that way. Okay, let's move on to the next problem. Okay, so here's a division problem. So we have 1.5a divided by 2b, and a and b both being defined by 8 and 2 respectively. So 1.5 times 8 divided by 2 times 2. So 1.5 times 8 is 12. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. So our answer is 3. Now let's move on to this one. Okay, so you have 1/3 A minus 1 minus 1/2 B. So let's just, with this one it might seem a little daunting because you have this extra 1 here, but all you have to do is just follow what we've been doing before. So we'll just plug in A here, minus 1 minus 1/2 B, which is 6. So 1/3 times 12, let's just do it out here. This is how I like to multiply. And if you don't want to simplify at the end, here's a trick that I use. I go ahead and try and take out the biggest number I can from these like crosses. So the biggest number I can take out here is a 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I get 6 here. So this will be 6 minus 1 minus 1/2 times 6, or negative 1/2 times 6, my bad. So you'll do negative 1/2 times 6 over 1. Oh, and another point, whenever you have a whole number and it's not a fraction, it's always going to be over 1. So here you can take out a 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So here I will get negative 3 as my answer. So negative 3. So 6 minus 1 is 5. And, oh my bad, I did this wrong here. This is supposed to be 3, 1/3. So then let's do the math again. So we can take out a 3 here, and that will give me 1. Take out a 3 here, we'll get a 4. So then I'll get 4 here instead of 6. So I'll get 4 minus 1 minus 3. So I'll get 4 minus 1, which is 3, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So our answer is just 0. Okay, so that was the end of this video, y'all. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. And go ahead and try and work these out on your own. And that's basically it. So, goodbye.